Hey everybody, this is Darth DeMarcus here, and we back today. And today we're going to be going over how to power scale Ichigo from the Agent of Shinigami arc to the Arrancar Fight for Katakura Town arc. I won't be including the 1,000-Year War arc feats because I'm waiting for the anime to release. As I've always said, manga and anime are two sides of the same coin. It is much easier to power scale characters who are animated. Visuals sometimes really help people. Even without the 1,000-Year War arc feats, I know Ichigo is planetary. If you notice, the V.S.Battke wiki has him capped out at continental, another low ball, a true low ball, just like they lowballed Aang. At the start of the Agents of the Shinigami arc in Bleach, after Ichigo receiving his powers from Rukia, his spiritual pressure was on the level of a 4th or 3rd seat Shinigami squad member. Now, once Byakuya came to the human world, dropped Ichigo with one hit, Ichigo trained with Kiseki and increased his spiritual pressure. At the beginning of the invasion of the Soul Society, Ichigo was a level 2 city level threat. At the start of the manga or anime, Ichigo was only a superhuman threat. During his invasion of the Soul Society, you see Ichigo go off on a journey and a win streak. His spiritual pressure had risen to high lieutenant level. At the start of the invasion of the Soul Society, he defeated Ikkaku, Renji, and he fought Zaraki Kenpachi to a draw. Mind you, at this point, Ichigo knew nothing about Shunpo, which is one of the 4 basic fighting styles within Bleach. He wouldn't learn Shunpo until he trains with Yoriichi for his Bankai. Yoriichi takes Ichigo and trains him to access his Bankai. What's interesting about this part of the manga is Kiseki created this training method, and he used the same training method to get his Bankai within 3 days. It's called the Tenshiratai. After Ichigo receives his Bankai, he stops the Sokiyo with just his Shikai, which is supposed to be the power of 1,000 Zanpakutos. One-shots 3 lieutenants as soon as he gets there, and fights Byakuya basically to a draw. And quite frankly, if he had continued to fight Byakuya, I do believe he would have beaten Byakuya. At the end of the invasion of the Soul Society, and at the beginning of the Bount arc, Ichigo is definitely a level 3 mountain level threat. To put things in perspective, guys, at the end of the invasion of the Soul Society arc, Aizen was already a planetary threat. And if you want to challenge me on that, I'll even challenge you on that base Aizen was a planetary threat. Now, at the beginning of the Bount arc, Ichigo is definitely a level 3 mountain level threat. By this tier, Ichigo was already faster than the speed of light, evident by Ichigo dodging Byakuya's Senbonzaku. A lot of people mistake Byakuya's technique as rose petals or cherry blossoms. But Senbonzaku is actually light and is moving at the speed of light. A lot of people like to comment on the similarities the technique has to Gaara's sand. Senbonzaku is a much faster technique than Gaara's sand. During the Bount arc, Ichigo did more base level training and a lot of base level fighting. He really did not use his Bankai to fight Korea. If you go back and look at a scene, Kiseki tells him, this is around in between the end of the invasion of the Soul Society arc and the Bount arc. Kiseki tells him, hey, don't depend on your Bankai. So it looked like Ichigo was trying to raise his base level during the Bount arc. He did a lot of Bount training, a lot of one-on-one training with Renji base level. Ichigo really only used his Bankai to fight Korea. As many fans know, there are only 4 basic arts of combat in the Bleach verse: Zanjutsu, Hoho, Hakudo, and Hado. Due to Ichigo's unorthodox training, Ichigo had only truly mastered Zanjutsu and Ho-Ho. Ichigo is the second fastest character in the verse. So it's amazing that Ichigo doesn't even know the other 4 styles of combat for Shinigami. You know, he didn't go through the Shino Academy. And yet he's able to defeat these high-level opponents and these high-level captain-level opponents. Ichigo is the second fastest character in the verse, as I was stating. And I know some will mention Soifan, but you do have to consider her Bankai when scaling her speed at max power. By the end of the Bount arc, Ichigo level 4 country level threat. During the Bount arc, Korea absorbed the Jokai seal. The Bount arc, Korea absorbed the Jokai seal in an attempt to destroy the Soul Society. The Jokai seal has enough power to destroy 1/4 of the Sarate. Keep in mind the Sarate is the capital of the Soul Society. So it's not the entire Soul Society, it's just the capital. If you're looking at this map, that's multiple states destroyed all around the East Coast. If we're looking at it from an American standpoint on this map. Ichigo defeated Korea when he sealed the spiritual pressure of the Jokai in him, thus displaying he is a level 4 country level threat. In power scaling, there are no absolutes on the destructive capacity of the tiers when we are tiering the characters. Many times, if a power scaler is using numbers, they're usually made up unless you're sourcing them from the manga or written source. We don't know whether Korea was going to destroy the Soul Society by a giant explosion, or was he just going to blow up the Soul Reapers and cause an imbalance within the Soul Society, thus causing the destruction of the Soul Society, you know, thus causing the Soul Society to become overrun with hollows. We just don't know. So fast forwarding to the Arrancar arrival to the Arrancar fight for Katakura Town, at the start, Ichigo blocks Yami with one hand, no mask. Yami is physically the strongest Espada out of all of them, out of all the Espada. Ichigo was as far as speed, Ichigo was beyond him in speed. Now Ichigo ended up losing due to his hollow form interfering. Ichigo also lost to Grimjaw in their first encounter. This was a tough time for Ichigo in that he was taking a lot of L's. This is also where we see Ichigo use his hollow mask under control. For this arc, his master is Shinjo Hirako and the Visitors. The Visitors teach Ichigo how to control his hollow powers. When Ichigo is using his hollow mask, the Getsuga Tessho attack potency rises tremendously. Ichigo's physical strength rises tremendously. And Vasto Lorde Ichigo is a level 5 continental threat that defeated Yokuruya's high-speed regenerative abilities. After he defeated Yokuruya in Vasto Lorde form, he flipped release state Yami over with one hand with his hollow mask. Now there is quite a bit of debate amongst fans on how powerful was Dagai Ichigo. Now I'm going to tell you, Dagai Ichigo is planetary, and with the technique moves in his attack potency is the highest in the verse. To fully understand how Ichigo is planetary, you have to understand what the Hogyoku is. The Hogyoku is a reality warping item that manifests as a user's desires. Aizen explained this in the manga, and he told Kiseki this is what it is. And once Aizen absorbed the Hogyoku, he himself was beyond planetary. With Aizen's Rietsu alone, he could disintegrate any living being. Understand that Aizen became immortal after absorbing the Hogyoku because it can basically warp reality. So Ichigo's attack was powerful enough to hinder Aizen's transformation, allowing for Kiseki's Kido to take effect. Ichigo was definitely a planetary threat. He is a planetary threat, and The fact that he was able to defeat a god, the fact that he was able to defeat a god within Bleach with a godlike power puts him on a planetary level. When you look at Ichigo, these are the reasons he's planetary. Defeated an immortal being who also can warp reality. He can move 1,000 kilometers in 1 to 2 steps using Shunpo, which means, he's basically faster than the speed of light. Destroying multiple mountains with one swing of his sword. And he's able to basically take Korea on with the Jokai fully absorbed. A lot of people have to understand that these guys are the good guys. They're not trying to destroy Katakura town. So when they're fighting above, they're trying to protect the town. They're not trying to destroy the town. They're not the villains, So the destruction these guys would cause. Let me tell you. A high-level Cero goes off in Italy. A high-level Cero goes off in Monaco. In these small countries, a high-level Cero goes off in New York City. We're going to have some problems. Do you know Vatican City is only 109 acres and 0.17 square miles? The Serente is bigger than Italy. Do you know how much chaos there would be if Italy gets hit with a high-power Cero or a Getsu Tech So? Italy's infrastructure would crumble. And this is a country we're talking about. So don't tell me Ichigo's not planetary. And then hit that subscribe and like button, guys, and give me your thoughts and comments, and give me your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm Dr. Marcus. I'm out.